Joining. This is CSC meeting number 29. So really exciting. I know we're kind of getting towards the end of our process. Pretty soon there's going to be a sign-in form, I think, dropped in the chat. So make sure to sign in and everything. And I think we'll wait a couple more seconds, but then we're going to get started soon.
This is the entire group here. Yeah.
Almost everyone's grabbing food probably,
Oh,
right?
There's some missing food. Good.
I know people are still trickling in, I think, probably in person and online, but yeah, I think for the purposes of time, we're going to get started. So welcome in. My name is Michaela Patton. I'm the youth co-chair. And before we jump into it, I will pass it for interpretation instructions.
Good evening. And once the language, the interpretation channels get activated, you will have to choose English if you wish to listen in English, especially when interpretation is being conducted between Spanish and English. So just like the slide says in your meeting webinar controls, down in your taskbar, once the channels are activated, click interpretation and then select English if you would like to hear in English. Muy buenas noches y bienvenidos. Una vez de que se activen los canales de interpretación, por favor, en los controles de la reunión o el seminario web, verá la barra de tareas en la parte inferior o la parte de abajo de su pantalla. Una vez que se activen, haga clic en interpretación, verá el icono del mundito como está en el lado izquierdo de la diapositiva. Haga clic en el idioma que desee escuchar, español o Spanish, y opcional, para escuchar solo el idioma interpretado, haga clic en silenciar audio original. Si está aquí por medio de un teléfono inteligente, busque los puntitos como está en el gráfico y siga los mismos pasos de hacer clic en el icono, elegir el idioma español y luego para escuchar solo en español, haga clic en silenciar audio original donde dice MUTE original audio. Muchas gracias.
Thank you. Give me one moment to start interpretation.
Thanks, y'all. So interpretation should be on. Once again, welcome. My name is Michaela Patton. I'm the youth co-chair. I'm virtual tonight because I'm dealing with a little cold, but I think Ayana and Mr. Charles, who are the two other co-chairs, are in person. So yeah, they are there. Yeah, thanks everybody for joining online and in person. And make sure if you're in person, talk to each other. If you're online, say hi in the chat and everything. Yeah, today we're going to be focusing on 3 core strategy areas. Illegal dumping, which has been a big concern, I know, for our CSC for the last couple of years, workforce development, and then also urban greening. So we're going to talk more about those strategies and also actions. It's going to be similar to kind of the other past CSC meetings where we're going to give some feedback on Google Docs in groups. Next slide. Yeah, so agenda right now, we're going to have a quick recap, then we're going to have a quick illegal dumping presentation and a chance for Q&A. Then we're going to have the illegal dumping breakout activity, so we're going to have time to give some input on strategies, and then it's going to be a similar process for workforce development and urban greening, so presentation, questions, and then a chance to give some feedback on the activity and the Google Docs. And then we'll close out and have our next steps for the next meeting. In general, just some meeting agreements, online or in person, 1 mic, 1 voice. So if you're online, raise your hand. If you're in person, I think also try to raise your hand to get into the queue. I think also just practicing step up, step back for people online and in person. So You know, make sure that space is given to people who maybe don't step up immediately, and if you feel like you do, maybe take a step back for a couple seconds. Have grace for yourself. Take care of yourself. Drink water, bio breaks, eat food, whether you're at home or in person. Make sure there's mutual respect for everybody and all the ideas shared. And then also, not a time limit, but I think just be conscious of how long people are speaking, just because I know we're on a crunch and a lot of people want to talk usually and get into the queue, and we want to make sure we hear from everybody. And then we also might popcorn on you. So, you know, if we haven't heard your voice too much tonight, we want to hear from everybody. So we might call on you. And it's totally okay if you don't have anything to add or, you know, don't have too much there. If there's any questions, put them in the chat, or if you're in person, raise your hand, and then someone on CBE or Air District staff will reach out. If you're in person, hopefully you've said hi and y'all aren't sitting in silence during the dinner before this. And if you're on Zoom,
and it's a good dinner too, KK.
and if you're on Zoom, I think people have already been doing it, but yeah, drop your name, your pronouns, and any affiliated org. And then yeah, make sure to use the chat and the reaction emojis online too, to kind of add to the vibes. Yeah, I think I'll pass it now to Air District staff to talk about the timeline.
Thank you, Michaela. Can folks hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay.
And we're welcoming Mossam back.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mossam, and I'll be going over the detailed plan timeline that was presented last month. I also wanted to quickly reintroduce myself to this space as a new staff member at the Air District for the CSC's awareness. Happy to answer any questions about my transition offline. Moving on to the timeline, right now the CSC is finishing up review of the strategies and actions. And next, the Air District will make revisions to the actions and begin putting them together into a full draft of the plan. The CSC will review this full draft plan starting in late July. Please note that we will not be having a CSC meeting in June to give us time to compile the plan. And the CSC will have several weeks to review the draft plan and will meet again in August to talk about it and share feedback. Next, please. The Air District will take that feedback and update the plan throughout September. And then in October, we'll be ready to release a public draft plan for everyone in the community to review. Next. And so in this phase, we'll invite the public to share their comments, and we'll make updates to the plan based on that input. And next, once those updates are made, we're aiming to bring the updated plan back to the CSC for approval in February 2026. And after CSC approval, the plan will go to the Air District's Board of Directors and then be submitted to the California Air Resources Board. And while we don't have time to take verbal questions about the timeline right now, if you do have a question, please put it in the Zoom chat, or if you're in person, please write it down on a sticky note and hand it to one of our staff members. Thank you. Passing to Carly.
Thanks, Mossam. Hey, everyone. I'm Carly. I use any pronouns, and I work for CBE as the AB617 project coordinator. I'll be going over the April CSC number 28 meeting recap. So in our last meeting, we had a SERP goals intro and activity. This was kind of like a part 2 of the goals. So revisiting this for spring of this year. And the CSC visited goals part 1 in summer and fall of 2023. And CBE and Air District led the SERP's goals activity to finish the broad statements. When I think about the future of East Oakland air quality, I see and I hope that the SERP can address this community concern first. Next slide, please. Another part of our meeting that we went over was commercial and industrial part 2. We had part 1 in the previous month in March, so we were going over part 2 in April, where Air District staff presented on the Air District's air permitting process and how to get involved, what a health risk assessment is, and what the Air District models in order to show emissions of facilities that pose high health risks. They went over Rule 1118, which is one of the many rules and strategies the Air District uses to reduce toxic air contaminants from stationary sources. They presented on how they measure air emissions and measure air quality. And the Air District mentioned at the end of that presentation that what they were presenting led into reviewing the draft actions for commercial and industrial sources, part 2. All right, and then CSC members and other meeting attendees provided feedback on CNI Part 2 draft actions, including subset 1, Air District permitting, health risk assessments, and updating the facility prioritization list, and improving facility monitoring. Subset 2, small commercial sources, restaurants, auto body shops, and empowering community members. And lastly, subset 3, enforcement, the East Oakland monitoring project, and making data more accessible. So we had a running list of comments from community members here for CNI Part 2, just as other focus areas to further synthesize into the draft actions. An email with the comments from this activity was sent out to everyone yesterday. Any questions here? Okay, hearing none, I'll pass it over to Alicia. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Carly. Good evening, everyone. My name is Alicia. I'm a planner with the Air District. Tonight, I have 3 slides that give us some background for our remaining focus areas, which is illegal dumping, workforce development, and urban greening. And as the title of this slide suggests, these focus areas represent a bit of an expansion beyond what typical actions are found in SERPs. Next slide, please. So we want to start by grounding us in the purpose of AB617. As we know, AB617 is focused on reducing emissions. So that is the pollution from factories and engines, okay? And it's also focused on reducing exposure. So protecting people through home air filters, good insulation, and those types of things. One last detail about the AB617 program is that it is mandated by the California Air Resources Board, and the plan development is led by the Air District, and the Air District will implement the actions that are within the Air District's purview or within the Air District's jurisdiction. Next slide, please. Oh, can you go back?
Yeah.
What'd you say? I'm sorry, I heard, I'm going to keep going. Okay, so over the past 6 months, during our monthly CSC meetings, we've done a lot of work on addressing those sources of pollution and reducing exposure that aligns with the AB617 program premise, okay? So we have reviewed actions for rule amendments to reduce harmful dust, and you'll see that in that first circled on your left on the picture on the slide. We've looked at permitting improvements, so that's also on the slide in that second circle from the left. We've looked at plans for health risk assessments at local industrial businesses, also on the one of the circles on the top row. We've looked at the East Oakland monitoring project. We've looked at targeted enforcement. Enforcement is also one of those circles on the on that picture. And then we've looked at actions related to large warehouses that are magnets for heavy-duty trucks. We've looked at actions that reduce exposure through programs to install air filters. And we've looked at actions to incentivize clean automobiles. So again, those are all, fit kind of neatly within those circles on the slide there. And so this slide is straight out of the CARB blueprint. So the CARB blueprint gives us the basic guidance to prepare this plan. So you can see that so far we've been talking about more typical categories of actions to reduce emissions and exposure to air pollution. Next slide, please. So tonight, we do a little shift. So through our partnership, we've recognized that many other issues are important to the CSC and that are related to cumulative environmental burdens. In February's CSC meeting, we presented an outline of the community description. We learned about the social determinants of health. We learned that sanitation, job opportunities, education, and environmental factors all influence health outcomes and contribute to health inequities in East Oakland. And that is in addition to living near polluting industries and freeways. So these factors all contribute to the cumulative burden. And so while some aspects of urban greening, such as tree planting, can reduce exposure to pollution, others, such as green spaces and parks, are beyond the direct and typical scope of a SERP. Sanitation and economic factors are not within the purview of the Air District. The Air District has no authority over these issues. However, because we heard so clearly from you and from our co-chairs about how pressing some of these issues are, we've researched initiatives being led by local agencies to develop strategies and actions for these areas. I want to say quite honestly that our toolbox is limited. Many of the more transformative actions require significant resources, as we know. The draft strategies and actions you will review tonight represent a starting place. They focus on leveraging the work of other agencies and enhancing the CSC's role in advocating for important changes in these areas. So tonight you will review draft strategies and actions for these topics. We'll first start with a bit of background about illegal dumping, and then we'll have an illegal dumping breakout. We'll then come back to the presentation and give you a little bit of background about the next two focus areas, and then have a breakout on those for those focus areas. I'll now pass the presentation on to Carly to talk about illegal dumping.
Thanks, Alicia. Yeah, I'll be presenting on illegal dumping strategy and actions, how we got here, and then we'll lead into an activity. So why does illegal dumping matter in East Oakland? From our past CSC meetings and special illegal dumping meeting, we heard from concerned community members that illegal dumping is hazardous to public health, increases pests, rodents, etc., hinders walking accessibility, and creates unpleasant smells, overall creating a lack of accessibility to the land. Next slide, please. So how did we get here? Based on the social pinpoint mapping tool that the 5 grantees did outreach on to find out where East Oaklanders' air pollution concerns lied, 235 out of 398 comments cited illegal dumping as air pollution concerns. And this project was done, I believe, a couple years ago. So from general outreach and feedback that we've gathered, we've also discovered that illegal dumping is a big concern of East Oaklanders. Co-chairs have also strongly advocated in the co-chairs meeting space for illegal dumping to be a main focus area of the SERP. The illegal dumping team conducted research on best examples of mitigating illegal dumping, programs the city of Oakland has in place for illegal dumping, and what other orgs, cities, and agencies are doing to address this concern. Air District and CBE held the illegal dumping special meeting in February of this year to hear more about CSC members' concerns and for CSC members to hear directly from Oakland Public Works and City of Oakland's planning staff about their plans to address illegal dumping. Next slide, please. All right, some opportunities and constraints here. So the City of Oakland has authority over illegal dumping, while the Air District has indirect authority over some issues related to illegal dumping, such as open burning. There are current City of Oakland and Oakland Public Works programs to address illegal dumping, although their funding is restricted. The City of Oakland's EJ element, or environmental justice element, seeks to address illegal dumping through 4 of their policies: blight control and prevention, proactive illegal dumping cleanup, illegal dumping enforcement, and community education on illegal dumping. There were a lot of great ideas to address illegal dumping that were shared from CSC members from the special illegal dumping meeting that the co-leads, Air District, and CBE shared with the City of Oakland and Oakland Public Works. The co-leads and co-chairs have worked with Oakland Public Works to review illegal dumping actions and confirm which are feasible and within the scope of the SERP. Next slide, please. So now this will lead into our activity. For this activity, we'll have one large hybrid discussion focused on draft illegal dumping actions. The group will review all draft strategies and actions. CSC members will participate in a discussion led by a facilitator with 2 note takers catching in-person and virtual speakers, while the other note taker will catch chat notes and support staff. CSC members can share feedback through group discussion, Zoom chat, or using Google Docs. All right, and a request, I think also if folks are speaking in person, I do believe, you know, the bigger room didn't end up working out, unfortunately, to pass the mic over. So if we could somehow, figure out if folks need to go to the front where the microphone is, so that way online people have those accessibility needs met of being able to hear you clearly, that would be great. Thank you. I'll pass it over to the facilitator.
Just one trying to say it. Yeah. Just a moment. I'm sorry, folks. I just want to pause real quick. This is Anna from the Air District. So for folks, apologies. We did not announce Sharon is here, who is a photographer who wants to photograph the CSC in action. This is to really promote the work that you all have been putting in the past few years. And so we really want to get great photos of you all, and but we recognize some of you don't want to be photographed. And so does anybody not want to be photographed? Can you raise your hand? You do not? Do not. Okay. Just so that we can ensure you don't get accidentally photoed. Would you feel okay? She's fine. She's fine? Okay, okay. We just need to know, so Sharon won't put you in the field of.
But Shamar wasn't fine here. What's that?
Just, yeah, so he's coming back. Ayana said, yeah, and I will apologize to him. That is our bad for not setting up a designated area, making that really clear. We want to respect, your wishes. So we'll ask Shamar to sit here or there, or maybe even Ayana's seat, just so that it's really clear, like Sharon knows not to photograph you. So just want to make that announcement. Everybody else is okay with being photographed, right? Okay.
I hope so.
And if you're a CSC member, can you raise your hand? So Sharon knows, because we want to capture our leaders in the room, and then Ayana and Shamar are coming. Okay, thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you for that.
I try really hard to make photographs that tell stories. And anyway, so thanks for putting up with me.
Thanks all.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Hopefully everybody online can hear me. I'm going to be facilitating the breakout activity or discussion activity on illegal dumping. What we're going to do is we have some of our team members in the room, and they're here to take notes. You're welcome also to use your post-it notes to write down questions and gather your thoughts. And folks online, you can raise hands or submit your questions in the chat. We have folks that are monitoring there. But what I'd like to do right now is just to start off by reading the strategy objective for the illegal dumping focus area, and then quickly read through each of the actions. And then we're going to take a little 2 to 3 minute break and give you all time to reflect on those, reread them, gather your thoughts, and then we'll open up the discussion. So I'll go ahead and, does anybody have any questions before we get started?
Can folks online here?
I just checked the camera.
Yeah, I can hear okay. At least.
can hear.
Just want to make sure.
Okay. All right, so the strategy objective for the illegal dumping focus area is East Oakland. East Oakland's collective actions helps transform the area into a well-maintained collection of neighborhoods where residents are not subjected to piles of unsightly, hazardous, and foul-smelling debris, and instead feel uplifted by their clean environment. And then I'll just read through, we have 6 actions here, and I'm just gonna read the titles. You can read, when we take our little 2 to 3 minute break, if you want, you can take that time to read the descriptions. So action 1.1 is advocacy to improve waste hauling services. 1.2 is to strengthen enforcement through adopting California Penal Code. 1.3 is illegal dumping prevention community outreach. 1.4, CSC dissemination of illegal dumping prevention materials. 1.5, driving local cleanup and beautification activities. And 1.6, proactive policy tracking by the CSC related to illegal dumping. And I do just want to call attention to actions 1.4 and 1.5, because those are two actions where we propose to name the CSC as lead. And now we'll take a 2 to 3 minute break while you gather your thoughts, and we'll come back. And the way that we're going to try and do the question and answer, or provide the feedback, is a progressive stack approach, where we prioritize certain types of questions from folks that are joining us differently. So go ahead and take your time to read through those actions, and if somebody could let me know, wait about 2 minutes.
Tenemos el documento ahí en español, no lo veo para leerlo.
Yeah, it was sent to her in her email.
I'm just gonna
Just put it in
drop it in the chat.
We're gonna put it in the chat now.
Sí, lo revisé, pero estaba en inglés nomás, ¿no?
We'll resend it now.
It's in the chat. Thank you.
Oh, it's in the chat now. It's in the. Are you able to see it in the chat?
It's in the chat, yeah.
Sí, ahorita lo veo.
Folks, one more minute. Then we'll get started. Okay, folks, we'll come back and we're gonna go through each of these actions one at a time, so you'll still have some more time to read up and collect your thoughts as we go through the discussion. But as I mentioned earlier, the way this is gonna work, based on feedback we've gotten from previous meetings, we're really trying to find ways to encourage to hear from new voices. And so we're gonna use a progressive stack approach to prioritize hearing from folks that don't normally speak up. So in the way that that's gonna look is that we'll first prioritize our participants that are online, and followed by our youth CSC members. And then next up, new folks, new community members that are maybe attending for the first time. And then we'll go to our in-person folks. And Carly's gonna help me in person moderate the questions, and we have DJ online who's gonna help moderate questions virtually. So
Yeah, and just to add that DJ and I will be, wanting folks to stick to a 1.5 minute talking time, just so that everyone has an equitable amount of time to speak. So we will be making sure to time the comments just to make sure there's an equitable amount of people speaking. And I'll pass it back to Anish.
all right, thanks. Yeah, and so we'll go through action 1.1, advocacy to improve waste hauling services with the support of CSC. City Council District 7 council member creates an advocacy campaign to support better waste hauling services for East Oakland. And the lead here, proposed lead for this action is City Council District 7 council member. So first up, I'll open it up to the group and want to hear what you all feel, what resonates, what's your overall feedback for this action. I'll look to DJ.
We've got Jamaica with a question right off the bat. Is there a reason both D6 and 7 participate in this?
Hi, yeah, why don't we note that as a suggestion? There was no intention there. I think it was that the majority of the plan area is in District 7. So.
Great.
Action 1.1 a little bit, so see the top. Oh, and maybe make it.
Do we have any other questions online, DJ?
Yeah, we have one from Shamar here. Shamar, would you like me to share it, or would you like to say that? His question is advocating for what exactly does better mean?
I think we had talked about more efficient and maybe waste hauling services that, more efficient and that come on time, I think is something that we had mentioned before. So if there's anything else to add here in terms of, what better might mean, that could help too with the action.
Great. Okay. Michaela has her
¿Yo
hand
puedo
up.
dar un comentario?
Marina can go first. She can go before me.
Go for it, Marina.
Ajá. Mi comentario es este, ¿verdad? Queremos mejorar, ¿verdad? Que esos troques se lleven recogen todos esos desperdicios, toda esa basura. He llamado yo, ¿verdad? Muchas veces al 311 hasta 10, 15 llamadas y nadie contesta y no puede dejar uno ni siquiera su mensaje. Entonces, ¿qué está pasando? ¿Cómo quieren que llamemos al 311 si ni siquiera nos contestan, ni siquiera tenemos acceso a un mensaje?
Taylor, you want?
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, I think kind of like people were saying, maybe having something more specific. So I remember at the illegal dumping meeting, we talked about more bulky pickups from waste management, advocating for like more per year, or advocating for more trash cans, like basic trash cans around East Oakland, but also like the big bulk trash cans to like at hotspots to kind of have that service already built into the community. And then I also remember people mentioning some kind of like, yeah, waste services center that's more accessible. So yeah, I think just making sure once we actually create this action, it's a little bit more specific.
Thank you for sharing that.
We have, I think Gabrielle next, Barry, and then Mr. Charles.
You know, CSC members go first, y'all go first.
Well, I think, okay,
What, actually?
so yeah, so basically, I wanna, second what Michaela said, but also, instead of an advocacy campaign from somebody that's on city council, I would like to see if, and anybody with the city, like exploring legislation and funding sources that could bring in the resources to implement these specific programs, like, you know, if you're the District 7 city council member, your job is to like actually legislate. And so I'd like to see like a commitment to, I'm not talking about enforcement specifically, I'm talking about legislating or looking for funding, like, and working with city staff maybe to find grants or just like finding ways to, or like passing some kind of, I'm not even gonna say it, but you know, or some tax or something, some kind of external additional funding, because that's always the barrier that they say there is. So it's like, okay, you know.
Great recommendation.
Jerry.
Hi, so I would like to piggyback what was already said. I think it is a great idea to have, especially the new District 7 council member, Houston, be a champion for this, because it's his district. Why not want your area clean, you know, and address these issues within his constituency, right? And so I think having a champion is excellent idea. I would like to, and I don't, maybe this is somewhere else, but it just seems like there may be contract opportunities with legit waste removal companies. You know what I mean? I bet if there's an RFP that's put out to some agencies who are local and legit, now who's gonna go dump somewhere else, you know, but legitimately get receipts and documentation of where that they dump legally, right? I bet you there'll be a lot of people in line to sign up for those contracts. And I know of one that's in this room right now. But anyway, also, I felt like the advocacy campaign would also be like, you know, beautifying Oakland, you know what I mean? Like signage that speaks to why we should want to make Oakland beautiful. I don't know if that's my 1 minute, so I'm gonna be quiet. But that was another idea of that they can include, you know, to engage more people and what they want their city to look like. So.
What kind of signage? Like signage about dumping or?
Well, I don't know. I took a picture. I was in Walnut Creek and I took this picture that was against illegal dumping. And I said, well, we don't even have any signs like this. And this is in Walnut Creek, which is beautiful. It don't look like it's open. But the sign, it was like a $10,000 fine for dumping. Now, it's a sign, but I'm just saying, it made me look like, ooh, why couldn't I drop a rapper? But we don't have anything to kind of detour that, you know what I mean? Or the opposite, you should wanna have it beautiful where you live, you know what I mean? We don't even have any signage that speaks to either way, but I'm just saying, and later I can show y'all the sign, cause I took a picture of it.
We are at 1.5 minutes. Mr. Charles, do you mind if Andrea goes first?
No, CSC members first.
Okay,
I'm done.
all right, Andrea?
Hi, I just wanted, to go back to when the people were giving the presentation on illegal dumping, and they talked about some of the internal conflicts that they have with, picking up the waste as far as it, creating an expectation and people just dumping there more. So I think in addition to improving the hauling services, the campaign should address all of the conflicts that are associated with picking up the illegal stuff. And they also talked about some of the communities around the trash not being cooperative with them, and there being some criminal elements. So I think that our advocacy needs to address those concerns and components as well.
Mr. Carlos?
Yeah, when we talk about, our city council member, we gotta realize that he's the one who, actually, orchestrated the illegal dumping conferences in California. So he has a connection with the state. So we have to, first of all, recognize what our leverage is and what our resources are. And, one of our other leverages is contract time. Cal Waste has to come through the people in order to get the contract, right? So why don't we tell them what we want them to do as opposed to let them negotiate with us? Because without us, they ain't getting paid. And that's also, since they the ones in that investigation, they should be paying penalties to the community for what they did. And so, and when we talk about equity, equity is making restitution for what you did. And if they're not making any restitution by including, that's something they should offer us. Hey, we have to do 3 bulky pickups from now on. That's something that we need to fight for, but we don't have the leverage as a CSC because nobody knows who we are. And we have to consolidate power so that we can have some leverage. But as long as we fingers, we ain't got no power. We gotta be a fist.
All right, I thought do we have one other comment?
Yes, I just wanted to say, we as a community, we gonna have to insist on certain things being done. Because anytime you have a council member in this district, he is supposed to be here. This is his district. And because I was asking here early about that, because he really needs to come. I've been trying to contact him myself. Yes, I have. But by me not having email and whatnot, when you dial that number he gave me, you have to have email in order to reach him. That's the bad part about it. And I'm gonna tell him about it too when I see him. And I also wanted to say that we gonna have to get more media attention to let them know what's going on here in East Oakland. Because it's ridiculous. Because all this dumping, illegal dumping all this stuff, it causes people to have all kind of respiratory problems. And we're gonna have to really insist on something being done. You just can't sit down and talk about something. You have to put action behind whatever you do.
Thank you, Ms. Cecilia.
Yeah.
1.2 in the interest of time.
In the interest of time, we only got a few more minutes for this activity. I think we're ending at 5 more minutes. Yeah, we have 5 more minutes. So what I want to do is just open this up to any of the actions, just so that we can get comments or questions on any of the different actions.
Do I have any comments? Go ahead. Sam Johnson, I was invited here for the first time. I missed one time I was invited before, but my email screwed up. But my thing is, okay, the whole thing is our community. This is our community, and they just illegal dumping. We don't know if it's the community doing it or other entities coming into the community dumping it. but we need to eradicate that as quick as possible. Cause like she said, people dying. We don't know how cancer's hitting people.
That's right.
There's all kind of pollution that's out there that's laying down. We don't know what it is, what is soil, what is a combination of stuff. But the thing is the councilman willing, like she said, he should have been here because this is it. But though, how do we videotape something to send to the council and put it out there, like she said, to the media?
That's right.
It's ours, our community. We can't just wait on certain people that's not a part of Oakland to move fast. Cause she said she was calling the phone number and not getting anybody. So why they have that number? It's a waste of time. But we have a crisis that's going on in Oakland. And as we get older, things happen to our bodies inside and out, and we don't know. So if there's emergency, which it is an emergency, then someone should be here to represent council to hear what we have to say. And then give their point of view on it, or hold up and call meetings with certain people. But then we can form our own committee to do things, to collect, to get things fixed. Like, excuse me, your name? Yeah, the brother here got an idea of doing things. The contract, like she said, we need to get our own stuff, but they need to pay for it. And like he said, for the past stuff they didn't do. But they still getting paid, but they're not giving back anything or reinvesting back into Oakland. So we're going through some stuff. I know you said 1 minute, so I'm gonna cut it short because I'm long-winded when it comes to our community. That's why I'm here tonight.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Public comment.
Oh, I will be.
Yeah, Councilmember Ken Houston, he participated, he attended and participated a special meeting back in February on illegal dumping, so he was part of the discussion. And the draft action is with his team being reviewed, so. Let's go online to Cynthia.
Good evening. I'll keep it short. Thank you for addressing this topic again. Like many, this is a topic very personal to me where I am seeing illegal dumping in my neighborhood at this moment. There's no avoiding it, there's no walking around it, and there's no way of moving it, right? And so my question is to the Air District. I know that a statement I think was read or said around how limited you all are in supporting us in this particular topic. And I'm not quite sure if this topic was brought up to appease us, to make us feel like we're talking about something that we're interested in. And so my question is going back to what exactly can the Air District do when it comes to illegal dumping? Because I'm still not clear on that. Thank you.
So that we are very limited in what we can do in this area. But what we can do and what we're trying to do right now is, is to use our to build those relationships and build those partnerships with the agencies that do have jurisdiction over this or do have the authority over this. And so part of that, that meeting, that special meeting in February, we were bringing together all of the agencies that do play a role in this space. So we had Cal Recycle, City of Oakland Public Works. We had District 7 Council Member Ken Houston there. We had a representative from Alameda County, Miley's office. And so that's what we're trying to do. And as you can see from these, I mean, that's basically what the Air District can do in capacity to support this effort. And then one thing too, the reason why we included this topic, this focus area was based on the input and feedback and importance that the CSC put on this issue.
Time for break, Raven says.
Okay.
So, yeah, this is gonna be left open, right?
Yeah, apologize if we couldn't get to your comments or questions.
Can we go back?
Huh?
Yeah.
I can.
I'll be real brief.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be real brief.
Yeah.
So I'm not making no excuses for Ken Houston not being here. But again, I had 2 meetings about this illegal dumping. And I gave him a proposal. And I just told Mr. Reed, I'm gonna share that proposal with him. And it would be wonderful, we can get the air district behind this proposal, so we can all be in one accord.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, that's great.
I didn't know you was gonna
I
say
appreciate
that.
that. You trying to Mississippi. All right, great, guys.
Hey, folks, we ready to get rolling?
Yeah, so it'll be on the 12th. They will be at the building.
Whoever's handling slides,
Wait.
the next slide, please.
ELC. Yeah, and I got something for y'all, seniors. I hooked it up. Watch. I got a surprise for y'all, so you can come to the senior coffee. Okay. Yeah, I got a surprise for y'all. I can tell you. What day was that? You got to come.
Samuel and Navon, are we
Yeah.
ready to get rolling?
For senior coffee. Well, let me know, baby.
Yeah, I can start.
Go ahead and get started. Samuel will be kicking us off.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending tonight. Just want to introduce myself into the space. My name is Samuel Garcia, and I am an environmental planner at the Air District. I've been researching and drafting some actions for the urban greening strategies for the East Oakland SERP. I know, as Alicia mentioned earlier in the evening, it's not urban greening and workforce development are not historically part of the purview of the Air District, but we hope that this conversation would continue to incite synergy and ideation about opportunities and resources throughout the region. Next slide, please. So why is urban greening important in East Oakland? Well, we know that East Oakland has some of the lowest tree canopy coverage across the city. We know that there is a lack of vegetative buffers and poor maintenance of trees for the existing ones that are available. And we know that this fails overall to protect sensitive receptors from harmful pollutants in the air. The current buffers are poorly maintained single tree lines. And as we mentioned before, there's many of them are surrounded by garbage. As we had interviews with the city of Oakland, we know that they are strapped for funding and resources themselves. And they generally use contractors such as local nonprofits as extensions to do some of the deeper community work for tree planting and tree pruning and similar activities such as that. We know that there's a shortage of parks and green spaces, which is a concern in East Oakland neighborhoods, especially compared to other Oakland neighborhoods, because these lack essential areas to promote active lifestyles and improve physical and mental health in the community. Next slide, please. As we gathered all our strategies for urban greening, we encapsulated them into a few buckets for objectives. And we tried to use some of the community concerns that were drafted earlier in the year to understand these strategies. And one of them was we wanted to find resources for tree planting, especially because we know the public health concern over clean air. We also wanted to have more vegetative buffers and understanding where to put them, especially for our sensitive populations. And then finally, we wanted to advocate for park planning and urban greenway networks to promote active and healthy lifestyles across East Oakland. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Samuel. So, hello everyone. My name is Nirvana, and I am an environmental planner with the Air District, and I'll be presenting on workforce development strategies and actions. And I'll be referencing some data and statistics that kind of help understand a little bit more deeper on like the need for workforce development strategy and actions in East Oakland, but just wanted to preface all this by saying that they don't entirely reflect like the diverse voices and like lived experiences of the community, and it might be difficult to hear some of these facts, but we are here to same thing as what Samuel said, for ideation and improving upon some of our
existing work. So passing on to the next slide. So what is workforce development? So the actions that you'll review tonight are a starting point to really get the CSC involved in tracking and advocating for sustainable workforce development in East Oakland. And while workforce development is not directly within the Air District's purview, we don't provide career services or necessarily funding for job training programs at this time, but our actions are designed to highlight opportunities for sustainable career pathways that support clean air and community health. And we aim to collaborate with our partner agencies such as the city, the county, and community-based organizations to connect environmental goals with economic opportunity. And that greater goal being to support a vision for East Oakland where climate and workforce investments go hand in hand. Next slide. So why workforce development matters in East Oakland? Well, workforce development means providing the community with the tools, training, and resources to develop the necessary skills to access and succeed in well-paid jobs and obtain lasting career opportunities. So while the East Oakland Community Emissions Reduction Plan focuses on reducing emissions and eliminating pollution burden in the community, there are ways to address the overlapping economic and environmental inequities to help bolster career opportunities in sustainable industries to simultaneously address unemployment rates and pollution burdens. So about 40% of East Oakland residents are living about 200% below the federal poverty level, which is more than double the rate of the rest of Alameda County and the 9-county Bay Area region. And the unemployment rate in East Oakland is 4.3%, which is compared to Alameda County which is 3.3%, and the rest of the Bay Area at 3.4%. So in order to address some of these issues and create opportunities for sustainable job growth, it can help with meeting the need for workers in clean energy, building electrification, zero emission technologies, and waste management. And these jobs ultimately can support in meeting those local climate goals. So there's also the skill development and job training aspect, which is important in determining the kinds of training, education, or apprenticeship opportunities that are needed to support these emerging careers. And actions in the SERP provide the CSC with the opportunity to track progress in these areas. Next slide. So our approach to developing strategies and actions for urban greening and workforce development included a review of several agency plans and also collecting stakeholder input and collaboration. So upon our review of the 2030 ECAP, this helped guide our understanding of the city's long-term priorities for equitable, sustainable job development, as well as how they're approaching the topic of tree canopy coverage, vegetation, and green space for community reinvestment. And the City of Oakland Urban Forest Plan addressed some of those issues and opportunities, as well as constraints of Oakland's urban forest needs. And the AVA Community Energy, excuse me, AVA Community Energy Zero Emission Medium and Heavy Duty Goods helped identify those workforce pathways and career development opportunities that are going to be occurring through those local training programs in schools. And our process of collecting stakeholder input and collaboration involved closely working in discussions with the City of Oakland urban forestry staff, who were able to provide insight to the city's capacity for tree planting and investments in green space, and addressing some of those barriers such as funding constraints and what the current need is and concerns of East Oakland community. And internally, we work together to align those strategies for career development with those long-term air quality improvement goals. Next slide.
Thanks. And as we continue to research and interview some stakeholders, we saw that there were some opportunities and constraints in East Oakland, especially in working and supporting the work of other fellow agencies. For urban greening, for example, we saw that the City of Oakland definitely faces capacity issues and resource constraints. And they generally use nonprofits such as Planting Justice to support the tree planting work in the neighborhoods via use of grants that are limited in scope. But we also have learned that the Bay Area Regional Collaborative, BARC, is trying to also have some regional, is scoping some work to provide regional funding for urban greening projects throughout our region. So there may be an opportunity there in the future. For Workforce, we learned that there's a variety of local nonprofits, educational institutions, public agencies, and organizations engaged in building the workforce for green jobs who may be best suited for leading initiatives. And then we also learned that there are further opportunities that we could engage with the Oakland's Workforce Development Board in the city. Next slide.
Yeah, so now we're going to go ahead and begin our activity. So we'll be splitting up into our breakout groups and reviewing those draft urban greening and workforce development actions and strategies. And we have pre-assigned those breakout groups to our CSC members, and we will be collecting your feedback on the document, and we will be keeping this open if you don't get a chance to fully complete your feedback today. So we'll go ahead and transition into our activity. I believe if you click onto the next slide, it'll have just some general information on the next steps, but yeah, we can go ahead and get started on the activity. So we'll start opening up those breakout groups and organizing ourselves in person.
All right, cool. So, thank you everyone again for attending today's CSC meeting. Our next steps is that we will be keeping the illegal dumping, urban greening, and workforce development actions document open for 1 week. So close on Thursday, May 15th. I've shared the link. This link should be shared to everybody online, and it should be included in the emails for all the CSC members. If you don't have access to those links, let us know, reach out to us. We can get you access if you want to have your comments documented. And Air District staff and co-leads will be reviewing those comments and integrating those that feedback into more final version of those actions and strategies for our plan, which we are working on, which is why we will be having our meeting next month. We'll be finishing up our plan, and yeah, thank you again, everyone. My computer is not working. Not sure if there's another slide.
And then Mr. Charles, you wanna close this out? Next slide.
Next slide, please.
Announce.
All right, we want to thank everybody for showing up today. And I also want to inform the complete CSC that there are greening workforce job development opportunities working with Lifers Leaving a Legacy. I sent out an email to everyone asking for their feedback if they want to participate, and we are looking for any CSC members that want to get their hands dirty, their feet dirty, and want to help clean up our city. Please reach out to me, Mr. Charles. And also, we want to wish all of you mothers that won't be here happy Mother's Day, because we won't be here to wish it to you. And we won't have a meeting next month.
Yeah, that's wrong. No meeting next month on June. Yes. And please check your emails for the invitation for an opportunity to join the general plan update subcommittee. I sent an email about that yesterday. And I just put the link in the chat. Thank you. And Beth just put the link in the chat.
And before we close out,
is there a question?
but yeah, and before we close out, June 12th at East Oakland Collective, if you're behind on utilities, I will have PG&E and East Bay Mud in the building, helping people and knocking some off that bill, or helping you with your forgiveness bill. So go to eastoaklandcollective.com. It is on the PG&E and East Bay Mud website, or I'll have the CSC. I'll have them send out the information as well. Thank you.
We outside, y'all. We outside.
Happy Mother's Day.